SprintCarUnlimited.com, coming to you from the 43rd Annual Kings Royal Eldora Speedway. We're here with third-place finisher Gio Salzi. Gio came on through the middle and end stages of that race. What did you find, or did the car just get better, or did it just come to you? What happened there?
Yeah, I felt like going back to Wednesday was probably the most Eldora kind of S track we had. No rain, obviously. Then Thursday, with no qualifying, it was drier than normal and was kind of just pounding the fence the whole time. So last night was last night with the rain and stuff, but tonight was not very Eldora-y. I felt like it would have blown off really quick and got to the fence, but I ran the fence maybe for 2 or 3 laps and moved off. I felt like it made more speed lower. So I was really good the first 10 or so, and then struggled a bit halfway through to probably like 20-25, and then really got going again. So I feel like Wednesday we were good. We just weren't quite as good as we needed to be, and then I feel like track conditions kind of came to us, and we got our car a little bit better for tonight.
How much does a third-place run in a race like this mean to this team?
Yeah, I mean, Eldora is a weird, or Kings Royal is a weird one, right? With the format, you can kind of luck your way into a front row starting spot. I feel like the heat races tonight were really racy. It wasn't like lockdown where the guy on the pole always wins. I felt like early it might have been, but and in our heat race, you win, you start 5th, you run 2nd, you start 8th. So there wasn't much of a, obviously starting up front's better, but it wasn't detrimental. It wasn't like heat 6 where you're 1st to 12th. So just kind of trying to get through the heat race, make sure you transfer, put yourself in a good spot, and then 40 laps is a long time. So like you kind of said earlier, I felt like the car got better as we went. I really didn't want to see a red with 1 to go, an open red especially. So double file restarts kind of confused me a bit. I don't know if that's new or old or what. I don't know when that was put in place, but double file restarts with 1 to go are not normal for sprint car racing. So worked out for me, but yeah, we were fast.
New team. I know you need to win. It's over 100 races. Not that I'm not trying to.
Who's counting?
But do you feel the pressure that, hey, you got to win?
I don't know, man. I try as hard as I can every night, right? Whether it's a local show or a Kings Royal or a Knoxville Nationals. So I don't treat any night any different. Like I said, whether it's a big show or a regular show, I think putting yourself in position, we've been in position to win numerous times this year, from Vegas to Arizona to Grandview to Fremont, and just haven't finished a job. But I feel like we're progressing. When you almost learn more sometimes when you're not good than when you're really fast. So I feel like early in the year we've probably kind of halfway stumbled into some good runs. We're kind of trying to figure our stuff out with, how the air was in Arizona and Vegas with the track conditions. So my guys are doing a really good job. I feel like with Eric every night we're learning more about each other and kind of growing that relationship for years and years to come.
How much? I feel you're making progress. You went from, you're hanging around top 10. Now you're getting top 5s. How much progress do you feel you're making as a team, and what's the biggest thing you guys have improved on from the beginning of the year?
I don't think people realize how tough it is to go from 8th, 9th, 10th every night to 3rd, 4th, 5th every night. I feel like with both touring series, there's 7 probably really good, probably 6, 7 really good guys on each tour, and to crack into that consistently is huge, right? So you have Aaron with a bunch of wins and a few DNFs, right? So being consistent, obviously, while we're kind of trying to figure our stuff out, I feel like running 7th to 8th on our bad nights, we have to maximize nights we're not great, and we're kind of trying to figure things out. Going to tracks I'd never been with this race car, we've never been together, obviously. So next stretch of races is good, I feel like. Lernerville Tuesday, New York on Thursday, Friday, then Fort. So I'm looking forward to it.
How important is this run, though? It's got to boost the morale of this team to come in with 57, 59 cars, best cars in the country, and run 3rd.
Yeah, I think the pill draw starts with pill draw, right? So you saw how much a racetrack fell off, and I think we were 13th or so quick, 14th quick, somewhere in there, and putting yourself in position here with the wheel. We got 3 wheel spins, I feel like, this week that all went our way from Wednesday to tonight. So yeah, it's a morale boost for sure. It's the best I've ever run here at Kings Royal, and run 2nd a couple times and 3rd with outlaw shows and all-star shows, but this is definitely the best I've been here in a long time.
Well, congratulations on a solid run and on to Lernerville.
Thank you.
SprintCarUnlimited.com, coming to you from the 43rd Annual Kings Royal Eldora Speedway. We're here with winner Anthony Macri, 2 in a row. 2 months ago when you were sitting on the couch, would you ever imagine you'd be sitting here
No.
as a Kings Royal champion?
No. I didn't honestly think I'd be a speedway champion sitting in the back race either, but I don't know. It's just kind of a testament to how good our car is, and I don't know. I'm still.
SprintCarUnlimited.com, coming to you from the 43rd Annual Kings Royal Outdoor Speedway. We're here with winner Anthony Macri, 2 in a row. 2 months ago when you were sitting on the couch, would you ever imagine you'd be sitting here
No.
as a Kings Royal champion?
No. I didn't honestly think I'd be a speedway champion sitting in the back race either, but I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of a testament to how good our car is, and it's just, I don't know. I'm still speechless. No, I didn't think I'd be here. That's just, and then going off of how our first 3 nights were, I really didn't think we were going to be here, sitting here, and I just wasn't comfortable all week, just chasing car problems. And then obviously last night we had to change motors after time trials, and just then had a shitty heat race and decided to pack it up for the night and focus on tonight. And I mean, I don't know. It's just unreal that I'm sitting here again, and obviously incredibly special.
You fell back to third. Did you kind of think, man, my race is over, or what's going on here? And then you found the bottom, and it looked like you just took off.
I mean, yeah, when I initially lost the lead, I was kind of bummed, but Garrett was so good and was carrying so much speed, and I just didn't really know what to do different, just because he seemed to be better in dirty air than I was. And I just kind of tried to work with my wing and where I was at in the track, and then Rico got by me, and then I was kind of definitely bummed after that, and I just kept working with my wing, and I didn't think it needed to go back further, but I decided I needed to try something if I wanted to win, and I just grabbed a handful of wing, and I grabbed a handful of wing going down one of the straightaways and just started floating in the middle, and I honestly got really good and got back by Rico, and then I feel like just kind of paced with Garrett there for a little bit, and then we had a yellow, and he took off and had a good restart, and then Rico got by me again, and I got back by him, and I felt like that was when I really kind of found the middle there, and my car was really happy with where everything was, and I got by Garrett there, and honestly, after I got the lead, that was scary how calm I was out in the lead. I knew I had to stay calm and run solid laps and not spin tires, so that's ultimately what I did, and it's just, again, it's incredible to be sitting here.
Yellow comes out. You could probably almost see the checker. I'm not going to ask you what you said because you probably can't say it,
no.
but
There's a series of sentences that were said.
How do you gather yourself at that point? And did winning last year help you maybe gather yourself after that happened this year?
I mean, I just kind of told myself sitting there that if I wanted to win this thing, that I had to get my shit together and not think about what could have been. Like, the race could have been over already. I knew I had to focus on what I needed to do to win the race. So, I mean, I was a little worried. I didn't know where to run. I didn't know where those guys were good, where I might have been, worse than them. And Joe kind of came over and said that I was, kind of good where I was, and they were going to have to pound the wall down to get by me. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a reassurance to just stay calm and run, a green, white checker calmly, even though it wasn't calmly. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe winning one last year maybe took a little bit of nerves away for this year. But I mean, in the end, when you're leading a race, there's nerves. You're not going to get away from them.
Do you feel like you're back to full strength now? I mean, I know Speed Week, I talked to you a lot. You were just a few nights, just getting comfortable. I thought the Williams Grove race was really good for you because you were tested so much. And you roll in here, and I'm sure you had doubt the first 2 days, but now you look like you're back in form.
I mean, I feel like I'm about 90% there. I feel like I still have some stuff to work on with me personally. I feel like my racecraft could be a little bit better, even though I'm standing here. But I mean, I feel like it could be a little bit better. I feel like my decision making still isn't, up to par, and I feel like I still have a couple things to work on.
Last thing, compare this one to last year. It's got to be an incredible feeling. You said you were speechless, but compare the two if you can.
I don't know. This one's obviously a little bit more special with being, only the second person to ever win, consecutive Kings Royals. And this one honestly means a little bit more to me just because I didn't lead all 40 laps. I mean, I did fall back and I had to work my way back forward. So just races that you had to work for mean a little bit more to me. And I had to work for this one.
Well, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
SprintCarUnlimited.com, coming to you from the 43rd Annual Kings Royal. We're here with winning crew chief, Joe Mooney. Joe, we did this last year. Compare this one to last year. It's such a different set of circumstances. Last year, you led throughout. This one fell back a little bit and had to come forward.
Yeah, it was wild with the cautions at the end. And yeah, like you said, I mean, set a good pace early. Then Garrett got ripping there, and I haven't even talked to him yet whether, he was just kind of conserving. But the second he moved the wing back and stuck the middle one time, I'm like, oh shit, like this might be over. But then when he pulled the wing back and, ran the middle that first time, I'm like, all right, well, maybe this isn't over yet. And, you get racing with Rico, and I mean, shit, if there's anybody else right here, right now, the most consistent guy and knows how to put laps together no matter what the conditions, and, Ricky and those guys got that thing dialed. If there's a versatile car that you're going to have to beat and that can beat you in any track condition, it's 100% those guys.
This has been a weird year. You lost Anthony for a little, then you had Casey in the car. I thought it was interesting. I talked to Ryan, and he mentioned how engaged Anthony was, with the team and helping out and all that stuff while he was on the shelf. Do you think that helped him?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, just to see, and it kind of shocked me too. I mean, he was in the shop probably more then, probably out of boredom, but wanted to be involved, and it was great. I mean, I definitely think that helped everybody. It helped Casey feel more comfortable. It probably helped Anthony learn. It helped me feel comfortable with the situation. It was just good that everybody, put their, everybody put their things to the side, and just did for the greater good, to keep everything going.
Did you guys learn anything that maybe with the car or anything with Casey in it, where you guys are both kind of looking on instead of one in the cockpit and crew chief driver?
It probably got me to, maybe open my playbook a little bit, try to, you get racing in Pennsylvania, and you get, when you're rolling pretty decent, you get in habits of, doing the same thing over and over again. Granted, I shouldn't say the same thing, but, you have your box.
You have a box.
You have a box, and, I think, which Casey was good about, hey, like, this is your car. Like, he never tried to, say, hey, I really think you need to do this or anything, but it gave me more of a, well, this is what we're good at, this is what we've been good on. I think it allowed me to just a little more freedom to say, hey, let's try this, see what happens. The pressure's down. Nobody had, I think I had higher expectations than everybody else, but nobody had expectations. So the expectations were down. So, hey, go ahead and try something.
Anthony comes back, and you're always worried, is he healed? Hope nothing happens. That's just natural in any kind of sport. But he's back. He wins 4 races at Speed Week, wins the Speed Week title, and now you win the Kings Royal. This return couldn't have been scripted any better.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. We were good during Speed Week, but I felt we could have been better. But yet, you know, it was better than I expected, but I don't feel like we were back at our. I mean, Grandview was great. Grandview, hands down, you know, was, hey, we were pretty lights out that night. But even at the Grove, at Port, you know, we were good enough to win races. But the 23 car is really fast right now, and I mean, we fumbled a little bit. It was probably better. I felt really good when he got back in the car at Bab's test session, how, you know, smooth, and it looked like it came back, and everything exceeded expectations. But yet, like, I think my expectations were a little bit lower, you know, because 12 weeks, that's longer than we have off between, you know, Babs and Volusia. You know, that's a long, 12 weeks is a long time to be out of the race car. I don't know, we'd have to map it out, but I bet you the other is probably like 9 weeks between, you know, if I had to guess. So, you know, Speed Week was good, you know, and it was good to go back to places that we're comfortable at, and, you know, but, you know, it was good. It was better than expectations, but, you know, when you try to compete at this level, it's, you know, you want to get back to where you were, and, you know, we started off the year really good, so it was, you know, tough to get back there right away.
I'd say you're back to where you need to be. What's this mean to you as a crew chief? This is 2 crown jewels now. Now, obviously, you won a lot, you know, when you were at KKR. This is different. I mean, you're running the operation. You're the guy making the calls, you and Anthony. What's this mean to you to come in here and be the only other crew chief driver to win the Kings Royal 2 times in a row, other than Donnie Schatz, who he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an elite list. What's this feel like, this moment when he crossed the line and it was over?
I mean, that's pretty crazy. Probably didn't sink in yet. You know, just, you know, we have great equipment. Nick and Melinda give us everything we need. There's never any questions like, why are you buying this? Why are you doing this? You know, it's hey, but have at it. You know, have at it. Nick will say, hey, he's like, you have a budget. He's like, I don't know what that is yet, but yeah, it's more than a budget. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of people involved that you know, I might not be the, you know, most pleasant guy to be around at the track all the time, but, you know, I want to win, and you know, everybody works hard, everybody sacrifices a lot, and you know, it's just the, you know, I don't know, I guess I don't really have the words for it, but you know,
it hasn't sunk in yet,
no,
probably.
No. So, not. I mean, there's no rest. I mean, we'll enjoy it tonight, but it's back after it. I mean, this week was mentally taxing, I think, on everybody, scratching our heads. You know, just we lacked raw speed, which was confusing. We changed engines last night, you know, thinking, you know, just maybe something we were missing. I mean, I changed shit on this car today that, you know, I'm just, you know, I had a fresh mag box in to come here, and I'm like, man, maybe something with that, you know. Just we threw the block. We didn't wash last night, but we, you know, threw the car on stands, and we're measuring, and, you know, something. This is the same car we were in at Volusia and we're lights out with, and it sat until, you know, we came here, and you know, I'm like, man, did we mess something up when we put it back together? Like, you know, we had it all apart to, you know, change safety stuff for them, and, you know, scratching my head, and I'm checking to make sure the thing's square this morning. You know, I put just replaced all kinds of shit on the car that, you know, you normally wouldn't, that just searching for speed, and, you know, I don't know that we had an answer, but, you know, hey,
here you are.
Whatever, we're here.
Well, congratulations on the win. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com live show, our post-Kings Royal show, I guess. Back on Tuesday nights. We were going to go last night, but I figured, you know what? We're gonna get back on our normal night, and obviously next week will also be on Tuesday. It's good to be back, and let's get right to the questions, the chat, and any phone calls. How in 2026 are we still gifting starting position to drivers in crown jewel events? Macri was awful this week, qualifies 18th Saturday, passes one car, and is gifted the pole. Fast guys buried insanity. I totally disagree. If you think Chase Dietz was the fastest car in the pit area, I don't know what you're looking at. They came out early. That track transitions 2, 3, 4 times through 50 cars. And you can't sandbag because you don't know what's going to be spun on the wheel. It could be a 4, 5, or 6. So you can't really play that game. And I think Macri came out 20th. I think it already started. That's when it started to transition. I believe Dietz went to the bottom, and then things started transitioning to the top. I mean, I've seen guys win the Kings Royal from 14th. Shane Stewart. I've seen guys win it from 10th. I've seen guys win it from the pole. Rico Abreu passed Anthony Macri. Anthony Macri went back to 3rd. He had to pass Rico, and he had to pass Garrett Williamson. Rico Abreu was the fastest car all week, and he timed 28th. Why did he time 28th? Because he came out late. So this whole idea that that race is tough. The format's always been the way it is now. I hope they keep it. I'd rather see them, if they would have spun a 6, Macri would have had a harder time. That's not what happened. They spun a 4. He was on the front row. There you go. So he still had to win it. Did he have the hardest heat? No. But he was good. And then he fell back in the feature. So he had to earn it. You can't say he didn't earn it. I mean, he fell back to 30. He had to pass Rico, and he had to pass Garrett Williamson, who was good. Rico was the fastest car all week. He's the only driver at a top 5 every time he touched the track in an A main. And I get that, Macri wasn't great all week. Well, Friday they loaded up, just like, a third of probably not a third, but a quarter of the guys, because of the track conditions. They switched motors. They made a bunch of changes on the car. I think Macri had to get used to, he was tentative. He admitted that he was tentative the first couple nights. I mean, he wasn't hateful. I mean, there's other guys who were worse. So I just think, if you're expecting a World of Outlaws format, you're not getting it for that race. I have no problem with the format. I wish they would have just left the inverted 6, because I think that provides better heat racing, because you're going to have guys on the front row who just aren't as fast. And you need a speed gap to be able to do that. So I'm okay with the format. I'm okay. He dropped back to 3rd. He had to pass Rico, who, again, one of the fastest cars all week. Garrett Williamson was fast Friday, Saturday, and he earned it. That's it. And, here's the other thing. David Gravel really wasn't fast all week either, but he came out early. That's why he was second quick. If you come out early, you're probably going to hang around those top numbers. Logan Schuart came out early. So, yeah, I have no problem with it. Caddy Guy on line 1. How are you?
Great. How are you doing, Jeremy?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Just three or four things I like to say about last week. Last week, that week in Ohio is, for me, I think right now, we call it crazy, the best week in sprint car racing, from Fremont to the Kings Royal.
Yeah.
Every night was a great night of racing, minus the Friday night at Eldora, and that wasn't their fault. Better than Nationals week, even though it is the Nationals. It's just a great week, phenomenal week. Hats off to Eldora Speedway. That was the best Eldora I've seen in a long time. I go to the Kings Royal every year, and I try and go once or twice for other big races. That was the best Eldora minus Friday night in recent memory to me. The issue last year, fixed it. Especially on Saturday night, they didn't know what the hell was going to happen with the weather, and that track was beat to hell. They thought it was going to rain, didn't rain, got it in shape, and I mean, it was just a great night. Great Kings Royal. Next point, High Limit beat the shit out of the Outlaws. I like the rivalry thing. I like comparing the two series, looking at the guys. You look at the podium, the High Limit guys crushed them at Eldora. Heads up. There's no arguing about it. And, again, I'm going to kind of piggyback on you on the last comment. People need to understand the Kings Royal format is designed for guys to pass and the fast cars to be in the middle of the field. It's purposely designed that way. I wish people would understand that, because it is a great format. You saw Rico, Corey Day, other guys coming up through that field, and then by the end of the race, they're contending. Hats off to Anthony Macri. They found speed at the end of the week. He found the middle of the track with his car and where it worked and won that race. That's all I got, and I'll listen to you on the other end. Thanks, Jeremy.
Well, thank you very much for calling. It is a good week of racing. You get a lot of variety. You get Fremont, Attica, and then, of course, Eldora. Eldora is my favorite track. I love Eldora. I think the key is with any format, and if you're going to invert, you got to have the track surface to do it. You've got to be able to pass, and I think that's critical. So they more times than not get that right for the heat races. Obviously, you can't plan for rain. I mean, that's kind of the thing that screws it up. But otherwise, it's usually pretty good. And again, I think Macri earned it. Braden Sage, will the Promoter of the Year award be presented during intermission tomorrow at Lincoln in front of a capacity crowd? God, these guys are just killing that management team. I doubt it. I doubt it. I'll leave it go at that. I think Ryan Timms will be the first person in the same year to win the 360s and the Knoxville Nationals after what he did Sunday morning at Knoxville. He's really good at Knoxville. We all know that. He won it last year. If he won it this year, I wouldn't be shocked. It wouldn't be like last year. I think it's very doable for him. I still think David Gravel is going to win the Knoxville Nationals, just because it's only so many years that you can get messed up in a heat race. And I think they're putting a lot into that race this year, maybe even more so than in the past. I think Todd Quiring's never won that race. So I think there's some pressure there as well. I think he gets it done this year, but Ryan Timms will definitely be in the mix. Your pick for the Weichert, leaving out Macri, Dietz, Aaron, and Rico, and why? Well, I'm not going to leave them out. I think one of those four are going to win it. I think they're way above everyone else. Because, I mean, especially in Central PA, Macri and Dietz are just, there's nobody close to them. As far as High Limit, I think it's who's good at Port Royal. Aaron Reitzel, very good at Port Royal, defending champion of this event. Rico Abers won big races at Port Royal. Very good there as well. I think Brent Marks is a guy who has been good at Port Royal at times and then been not so good. So I think that's kind of a wild card right there. If Marks is on point and is the Marks who won the Tuscarora 50 and who shines at times at Port Royal, it's going to be a 5-car battle. Otherwise, it's those 4. As far as who I think is going to win, I'm going to say, I'm going to say Aaron Reitzel. I think he backs it up. Fuel stop at the end was a joke. There are solutions to that. I did a 90 at 9 on that today. It's not so, I hate the word joke because I don't know what that means. But it's just where we are in sprint car racing right now. We have these engines are burning more fuel. We take too many pace laps at the beginning. It's ridiculous. Plus, they did have to buzz the track. So that was extra laps. And then, of course, they set it at 55. Now, I don't know if the Outlaws base it on a 28-gallon tank or a 30-gallon tank. I do know High Limit bases it on a 30-gallon tank, their lap count. So I don't. Yes, it can be fixed. Either 33-gallon tank or stop taking so many pace laps, or I don't know, just changes can be made. And what bothers me the most is that they don't want to evolve. Other sports evolve, and they do it because of their customers. The boos coming up from the grandstand area were significant. And then, of course, you had the social media chatter. Not that you should do everything that people talk about on social media, but obviously it's a problem in the eyes of fans. Fix the problem. So yes, it can be fixed. Got my new Sprint Car Unlimited merch. Awesome shirts. I will wear them proudly. You do a great job, Jeremy. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm hoping to get mine soon. I haven't got mine yet. Yep, there they are, the 3 designs. We have the link over in the chat. Purchase away. The merch is here. Hello, Jeremy. I really enjoyed all 4 nights of racing from Eldora. I got a bit worried when the holes started appearing in turn 1 on the 3rd night, but the final night, the track was excellent. Yeah, I just think it's the weather on Friday. And I think that kind of wreaked some havoc with the racetrack. But, yep, everything was good on Saturday. I think Eldora did a great job. I think the track surface was good each night. I mean, obviously Friday, nothing you can do about that. But good. And I think they caught a break on Saturday with that rain splitting the speedway and Eldora not getting hit. So it was good all week. You hit on it a bit this morning on the 90 at 9, but is it fair to say Port Royal has slipped a bit the last couple of years on promoting? I feel like Babs is the only track that really goes above and beyond. I do think Babs has the best promotion going right now. I think they do a lot of different things. I think they use social media well. I don't know. I know Justin Snyder left Port. I don't know if it's taken a step back necessarily from that, but probably a little. Some people hinted at that today. Whatever it is, you're coming up on it. High Limit's not absolved from blame too. I mean, Thursday night, as soon as the Joker's jackpot finished, you put something out about having another 6-figure payday in 10 days. I don't get that. To me, boom, right out of the gate. Yeah, you want to do your post-race stuff and all that. I get it. Should have been the Weicker all week. It's just, I think tracks are missing an opportunity. I know it took Port a while to jump on the Weicker thing. I know they did a day and a half ago or so. I just think they could do better. Jeremy, I really admire your resilience on the watch party with Eric the other week. I'm in Australia where the time difference is better to watch, but I don't have the patience watching it live. I prefer to watch the replay so I can skip through after crashes or the downtime when nothing is happening. Well, I'm used to going to the races, so it's one of those things where you get used to it. As long as I've been going, which is roughly 49 years, you learn to put up with a lot, I guess. But it was okay. It was different, and we'll be doing more of those probably after the Nationals, because I'll be at a race every Saturday from here on out. What we will do, though, is preview shows every Saturday, probably for an hour before I leave for the race. However, as far as the live show where we're like a watch party type thing, that'll be after Knoxville. The Kings Royal and the Knoxville Nationals have a big event feel to them. The Williams Grove National Open feels like a race with a chili cook-off attached to it. What does the Grove need to do to bring that kind of atmosphere to the Natty O? It's a good question. I do think they need to revamp. I do think they need to get activities going. I do think they need to. They have a lot of land back there. I mean, without sitting down and thinking about it. I mean, they used to have the kickball thing. They used with the drivers and stuff. They used to have other things going off. The auction, Colton Gauss's auction used to be going on. I think they need to get involved with the town of Mechanicsburg. It's right down the road. I just think they need more promotional things before the event. I think if you do some stuff before the event, I think that helps the event itself. And you're right. It does. It's just a $75,000 to win race with the cook-off. And now what it exactly is or what they could pull off, again, I'd have to sit down and think about it. But I do think they need to revamp kind of how that weekend looks. Have something Thursday night. Do something. They gotta do something. Shane Gillis making a comedy Talladega Nights type movie about Williams Grove has me giddy. How awesome would that be? Yeah, I mean, I guess, I mean, he's a big name. Obviously, he's all over the place now on YouTube and whatnot. So, I mean, it never hurts when you have somebody of that stature involved some way. I'm a Sam Kinison guy. I'm a little older. So, but yeah, no, I don't think that probably would be, I don't know about that type of movie, but do something. I've attended a pretty awesome wet t-shirt contest at the National Open. Okay. All right. Now it's getting like the Gold Cup. What are your count predictions for tomorrow night at Lincoln? 18-22. All the people who love handicap formats seem to be complaining about the Kings Royal format burying fast guys. I haven't seen a lot of it. I've seen a few comments, not a lot. It's not like I've seen 100 comments. I haven't. Now, maybe I haven't gone to the right places, but just a few. Do you know why Brad Sweet pulled the pin on racing at Eldora on the final two nights? Yeah, they packed up Friday because for the same reason a lot of teams did. If you weren't, if you were behind, you weren't going to make up ground on that track. Now, Brad, I think, was in a qualifying spot. I don't know, but it lent itself to the reason he didn't come back the next night, which he didn't feel comfortable in that car racing at Eldora Speedway. Told me that. He looked bad. He looked bad racing Wednesday and Thursday. And I just think that that's not what he wants to do. I don't think he wants to race at Eldora when he doesn't feel totally comfortable. He didn't look comfortable all week. So I just think he pulled the plug on it. Not to keep beating the dead horse, but what could be a downside for Track's Woo High Limit not mandating one size fuel cell? Do different chassis require certain tank sizes? No, you can use a 28, 30, 33. Those are your options. Kyle Larson uses a 33. David Gravel uses a big tank. And those are two of the winningest guys in the sport. So no, there's no restrictions on that. It's time for split field qualifying for the Nationals, Kings Royal. People bitch about the wheel. The draw is even more BS. At least at Knoxville, it's an eight invert. I don't hear a lot of people complain about the Kings Royal. I don't. Maybe I'm missing it, but I'm okay with the format at the Kings Royal. I said it earlier. It's one of the better heat. It's probably the best heat racing along with the Nationals you see all year. So I'm good with it. I'm totally fine with it. Some people are saying Macri sandbagged in time trials to get the front row in the heat. What do they mean by that? I guess they think he was letting off or trying to get in a certain spot, but the problem is you spin the wheel. So you can't do that. It's a 4, 5, 6. So it's either 24, 30, or 36 on the invert. That is 12 positions. If we look at between 24th and 36th, which, funny, I just happened to have it. Oh, I did have it. Reset. There's not a big gap there. Nobody's going to be able to do that. The days of sandbagging are over. Now, I guess if you're thinking, well, he's getting between 10th and 24th. Well, if you do that and they pull a 6, now you're 26 spots off, which are about 4 positions in a heat race. You can't do that anymore. I've heard that in the pit area a lot. You can't do that anymore. You just got to run it. I'd say this with all sincerity. I miss Brad Sweet running full time. It's not the same. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's 046. I'm sorry. You're right. Not a 5. I don't know what made me say that. But yes. Now, I mean, drivers change. They move on. I think it makes you appreciate when he does run. But yes, the invert was 046. So they even had a chance to do the fast guys. It didn't happen. I don't know what made me think 5. Sorry about that. The wheel only sat near me all most of the week. Hit the like. Thank you very much. The Grove has an outlaw tune-up race Friday night. Is that really needed? No. I don't get that anymore. I don't think it does anything. There's enough time trial shows now. I don't think you're tuning up for anything. You just came off Speed Week where you had 8 shows with time trials. Then you had PA Series races. Those are time trials. The outlaw tune-up thing, I don't know what that does anymore. When did Fudd split with Brent Marks? Oh, God. Was it a couple years ago? He hasn't been with Marks for a long time. How many cars does a Grove get? 51 and 27 cause points. But who else? It's a PA Series race, so I'm thinking 27, 28, something like that. So much for NARC being the Sanders show. I think 11 different winners in 12 races. Well, we're also throwing in the Skagit races. It's still his series. Go look at the points. It's over. I mean, it's almost 200 points. They're not going to catch him. It's just, yeah, he's not winning. I know they had some shenanigans on Saturday again that I don't understand. But where they slid Rose because Dominic Gordon didn't start, but in the rules it says you crisscross for the start of an A main. But then the reasoning was because Dominic presented himself. This is an F1. Okay, there's the presenting thing, and that's not in the rules. So to me, it's made up as it goes along. And I just don't worry. He'll win his share. Great to see the Outlaws get schooled last week. Look, I mean, high limit in the world of Outlaws. They each have their big teams or their teams that can win. Kyle Larson's not a high limit guy, and neither is Corey Day, and they won. You know, they won. So I don't know. It's they both can win. Both factions can win and have good nights. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. I think it depends where you go and what night it is. Do you know what the holdup was on the HP Engine Stamen announcement? I do know there was a bereavement. I know there was a death in the family. So I think that probably was a little bit of a hang up. And, you know, just till you dot the I's, cross the T's, get lawyers involved, it just takes time. That's all. Just takes time. Hands down, the best thing about the Kings Royal Week is no one went out on stretchers this year. It's always good when nobody gets hurt. Do you think the Kings Royal is getting to be the best marquee event now? The atmosphere and racing is getting so much better. I think Knoxville has lost a little bit of the wow factor. I think still, as long as the drivers view Knoxville the way they do, it will be the biggest event. Now, for me, I'd go to Eldora if it's me. But you can't discount Knoxville because the drivers and the teams and the amount of teams that show up, it's so much, and the towns around it. They have a lot of activities going on. I don't think it's slipped. Now, I do think they probably want to pass for the lead this year. I think that's starting to get more, legs. It's growing legs. People are talking about that more. But Knoxville's been great this year as far as the racing. So hopefully that carries over to the Nationals. John on line 2. John, how are you?
Good, Jeremy. Hey, I just had a question for you here. When they gave out the Rookie of the Race award, how did they figure that? Did they figure that who finished the best, or is there more involved than that?
No, I think it's who finished the best. I think it's who finished the best, and I don't know what else goes into that one.
The other awards, that they have, the other awards that are like who come through the field the farthest and all that.
Hard charger?
Based on the finish, where they finish.
Yeah.
How many cars it has or whatever. Well, I was looking there and I couldn't think that Tanner was the rookie of the race, and he finished 10th, and Axton was finished 12th, and he was the one that got the award. Something I'm missing about that whole deal?
Well, I don't know why Axton would have gotten it. I think he finished 6th in a Kings Royal before. I don't know why he would get that.
I didn't either. I didn't get that either.
I don't understand.
I mean,
I don't understand why that is.
Know all the rules. Yeah. Okay. Well, then you're as baffled as I am.
Well, let me check here because I know exactly where I could look for this. Yeah, this was this was Axum's 3rd Kings Royal. He finished 6th back in 2024. Tanner Holmes. Let's see.
He tried to make it already, but that's the first one he made.
To me, if
First
you
one
even
he
try and make it, you shouldn't be a rookie when you do make it. You're not a rookie.
Right. Well, he was the first. Well, I don't know, but he was considered a rookie for the announcement. But
Yeah, he's tried it two other
neither one
times.
of them were rookies.
Neither of them are rookies.
Yeah, yeah. If that's the case, neither of them were rookies.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, they done it. It's done. So I think they got a body from one of the body makers. Something.
Yeah.
Hey, the other thing I wanted to ask you was, now this is on a totally different subject, but did you see the movie? Was it called Mystic Alaska or something like that?
Mystery. It's a hockey
Mystery
movie.
Alaska.
It's a hockey movie. Yes, I've seen
Yeah,
it.
did you? Surely you watched it. Yeah, what did you think of that movie?
I thought it was good.
I thought that was great.
I thought it was good.
And was that actually a real story that they made into a film?
I don't think so.
Someone said that the New York actually went up there and played a game or something.
I mean, that I don't. From what I gather, it is not. It's no, that didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that they do have a hockey team up there that shovels the snow off the lake, and they play the big, they play the big court, the big hockey ice. I do know that does happen, but I didn't know if they actually, invited the Rangers to come up there or not. But it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, I'll let you go.
Yeah, I don't know how they do the rookie thing.
Surely saw that.
I don't know how they do the rookie thing.
Yeah, I don't either. I'll have to look into that. I'll ask Tanner. He probably knows what they do, how they do it.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
All right. Hit the like button, y'all. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Kings Royal Victory Lane finale is the best stage in all motorsports. That I will agree with. I think, again, I'm a Kings Royal guy. I'm an Eldora guy. Yeah, I'd say their Victory Lane is probably the most picturesque. I know Brent Smith, if you get a chance, go to the website and go see the pictures that are on there of Victory Lane. Brent Smith did a fabulous job. Some of the best shots. Well, they're the best shots I've seen so far. When will Eldora make you the Royal Sovereign? I doubt that'll happen. I doubt it. Double file restart and open red for Rico. What's your thoughts? No, the double file restart thing has been going on. I don't know. They don't have many green, white checkers in that race. They don't usually have many cautions in the last 5 laps of that race. So I was trying to remember too when they switched that, and I just can't remember. But no, I don't think they did it for Rico. The new graphics look more professional. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, we're going to keep working on stuff. We had a PTI format for our race day preview shows and live show. So yeah, we're always working on it. If you have any suggestions, feel free. Jeremy, is it your fault that Huset's has been out of fresh pretzels and nacho cheese since IBAC Nationals? No, I don't eat either of those things. I hate nacho cheese. I don't even like the way it smells. No, it's not me. Still confident Shots will get another win. Yeah, I'm not going to bail yet on that. Now, that being said, they've been bad. And I thought after Huset's, and I talked about this before, I thought, okay, everything's in, we're past this growing pains and all that other stuff. Awful at Cedar Lake. Awful. Just shouldn't, which I don't get. And then they weren't good at Eldora. Let's just say it's waning. But yeah, I'm not going to bail on it yet. But it has not been good. How about that drone show? No, it was good. It's one of the things that makes Eldora what it is. I like it better than fireworks. I don't like having to wait for it. I don't like that we had almost an hour break there. I didn't till it got dark. But that's a product of starting early. So I get it. But it's kind of neat. Disappointed that Sprint Car Unlimited was missing from the drone show. It's not about me. I don't think that I ever entered the equation there. What are your thoughts about the timing of the races on Thursday? It was a quick night that fit in the TV slot well. As you know, it was a bit warm at the track, so I enjoyed it. I wish we would have more of those types of events. The Knoxville Nationals, I love the Knoxville Nationals, don't get me wrong. But Saturday drags, man. I almost like when there's a chance of rain, so they speed it up. Because they roll out the A main close to 11 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock here. Or they roll it out at 10:30. It's after 11 o'clock here. And whether people want to believe it, hear it or not, the bulk of your fans are East Coast. Just the way it is. So I'm all for, how about we finish at 10:30? Come on. There's no reason we can't do that. So I enjoyed it getting over at 9:30, and people could get to the pit area. People could do other things. Now, granted, you're at a Crown Jewel event, so there's really nowhere to go. Now, if you're at the Grove, you go home because they don't usually have stuff after the races. Eldora had a band and all that other stuff. Not my thing, but people like it. It's good. You're on the grounds. So getting done early, I've never heard anybody go, God, it sucks to be done early. So I wish we'd do it more. Not sprint car related, but how about Bedard getting the big bucks extension for the Blackhawks? I thought the contract was reasonable. It's not going to kill their budget. It's not going to strap them for years to come. The Leo Carlson deal is stupid. It's stupid. $18 million for a guy to be the highest paid player in the league, and you're not even a top 10 player. That's foolish. And it really straps Anaheim moving forward. So I thought the Bedard deal was okay. And you got to build around the guy. And I'm a little concerned about the injuries, but still young. Last year with the rain issue, Saturday, Knoxville was awesome. I agree. Absolutely. Was surprised to see Snyder in the CB87 as Logan Seavey had no USAC commitments last week. Any insight on that team moving forward? I've heard a lot of stuff rumbling that they're going to do more races next year, and you could see them purchase another charter from somebody, or I've heard the gamut there. I don't know what the future holds, but Logan Seavey, I just don't know who they choose there or what they do or if they're going to expand. There's been very little, I've heard of different things, but no chatter from the team. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. I think Snyder has more winged experience, but not by much. Logan Seavey, obviously more accomplished in the non-wing ranks. Be interesting to see which direction they go. So you bash the work area all the time saying it's not needed. You stood there and made a video of the 41 getting repaired. I'm confused. Yeah, I hate the work area, but people watched it. Okay, just because I hate something doesn't mean I'm not going to do my job. It's like saying because I don't like a driver, I'm not going to interview him. One has nothing to do with the other. I saw something interesting happen, what I thought people would find interesting, and I was right. So I taped it. It had nothing to do with me liking it or not liking it. My personal beliefs never entered the equation. I thought people would think it's interesting, so I taped it and put it on YouTube, and I was right. People were interested. Connor Wade saying how the work area is entertaining seemed like a poke at you. I don't care. He can poke all he wants. Maybe I will tell you this: it burns laps and leaves the fuel stops. And there's a lot of people out there who don't like it. The entertaining part. So I got questions for everybody in the chat. So if the racing's bad and the work area is quote unquote entertaining, is the work area going to draw people to the track? Let me answer that. No. People care more about the racing. So if the racing's terrible, that's what people care about. If you have bad heat races and the feature's really good, nobody cares about the heat races. The work area is a sideshow. It's a sideshow for Dirt Vision. That's what it is. And they can say, well, oh no, people clap when people come out. Yeah, the people clap when their favorite driver comes out from the work area. That's great. They're not leaving if they don't come out. If Sheldon Hodenshield wouldn't have come out at Attica after turning it over, nobody was leaving. So it's a sideshow for Dirt Vision. That's what it is. And people can take pokes all they want. That's what it is. Any talk with Danny Dietrich about what's going on? No, not really. I talked to him this week about the Weikert because he sets the format for that. They're just bad. And from what I gather from some of his posts, he's second guessing himself and kind of down on himself right now. So I think that probably comes into play at some point because he does take a bigger role in that team than, say, just a guy showing up with a helmet bag. You know, he runs that team. And so I think he's questioning himself on multiple levels. They're not fast, so he's questioning maybe some decisions in the pit area. And of course, that leaks out onto the track. It's a bad deal when you do both, because if you're off, you're going to blame yourself at some point. I'd say guys like that are Aaron Reitzel, Justin Sanders, Danny Dietrich. They're right there. Those three guys, they work on the car a lot. They make a lot of the decisions on the cars. And if things aren't going well, they're going to probably second guess what they're doing on both ends of that, you know, in the pit area and on the track. So I think that's a different animal than, say, if David Gravel struggles, he doesn't have anything to do with the car. So he just has to worry about his driving. So I think that's a little easier. I would assume Danny's probably got a lot on his mind at this point. Who wins tomorrow night at Lernerville and Oswego Speedway? And thoughts on the red 69K? 69K looks good. I'm a little surprised Christopher Bell's running with the hand injury, which is getting better, and he's raced the cup races. But I'm just surprised they let him do it. I'm glad they did. The 69K looks good. Gravel's going to have a good week because he swept Oswego last year. And he's really, really good at Weedsport. So I could see Gravel kind of putting it to the field the next few races. Lernerville, that's crapshoot. Watch Tanner Thorson. Tanner Thorson's really good at Lernerville. So I think there's a guy, I think maybe, he's been off the radar a little bit. He's fallen back in points. I think Lernerville is a get healthy race for him. Now, the problem is then they go to State Line and Ransomville, or I should say Ransomville and State Line, and go to Port. I don't know if he's ever seen the other two, but Port, not as good at Port. But Lernerville is a place he likes. It's a place he's fast. So it will be interesting to see how he does there. So I took Tanner Thorson in my picks with Ryan. He took Larson, who has burned him a lot. And I think Oshwegan, I think you're going either a Kofoid or a Gravel. He just wanted to get proof of me working. You didn't work. All you did was walk around and look nervous. Braden, you look like you wanted to do something and you had intentions of doing something, but you have a lot of nervous energy. So you just didn't. They had enough guys on that car. This is 8 of them at one point. I'm really surprised other tracks where running 410 sprint car shows against Eldora, even though they were in different states. You would think they would let Eldora have the weekend to themselves. No, there's people who run against Knoxville. So they're going to take off for Eldora. It doesn't affect Eldora's event. It's good anyway. They get a really, really good crowd. They're making money, trust me. So I don't disagree, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't have a Super Bowl in sprint car racing. We don't. Because Super Bowls, you don't run against them. So there's no Super Bowl. Sorry, there's not. Do you like double file restarts on the last laps? Was that something everyone knew was going to happen? I forgot about it just because I haven't seen a lot of that lately at the end of the King's Royal. Do I like it? I can see both sides of it. Obviously, they're trying to create racing, and that's the only reason you do it. You're trying to create racing. I don't like the idea of taking away the leader's advantage. He earned it. He got there. They should maintain it. Now, they do get to start early or earlier than the guy beside him. So I'm kind of 50-50 on it. It's not a hill for me to die on. Let's put it that way. How about Greg Wilson getting a win with daughters and wife as his crew? Yeah, I saw he won at Tri-City. And I know he doesn't have a crew. So, I mean, as far as, a professional crew or guys. So, yeah, I mean, Tri-City's probably a good place for him to go. And he should have won there. Any news on the new driver of the BK77? Not yet. It's a call I've got to make. It's on me. Haven't made it yet. Why not do a Delaware double file restart like the late models do? No, I don't like that either. I don't know. I just either do them or don't do them. Don't stick one guy out front and double file after that. I'm not a big fan of that. Pick one. Please show some Briggs Danner love with the Silver Crown win. It's not a sprint car. Now, if he could figure out wing sprints, maybe a Shuttlesworth would help. Well, the problem is he doesn't get a lot of starts in. He gets starts in a wing sprint car at the beginning of the year. And then he has to fulfill his USAC commitments and just doesn't see it that often. I like Briggs Danner. I'd like to see Briggs Danner get in a wing car. I think he could be pretty good around here and progress. And I don't disagree with the Shuttlesworth angle. But again, he's kind of locked into Husack right now. And I'm not surprised he won a Silver Crown race at all. I mean, he's pretty good without a wing on. So I just don't think, I don't know if wing racing's in his future. Jeremy, has Sugar Bear packing SCU merch to be sent out tomorrow? I do not. I do not handle that. I hope people get their shirts in a timely fashion. I have an online store because I'll be honest, I don't have time to go to the mail dock, mail it out, put everything in envelopes and do all that stuff. I have enough to do. Some good old handicap racing tomorrow night at Lincoln. Yeah, it only took them until Tuesday to announce it. That should be out way before the day before the race or 2 days before the race. Come on. And I don't know why they would make it handicap. It's not like High Limit was coming. High Limit's going to New York. They're not going to drive from Western PA down to Abbottstown and then up to Western New York. That was foolish to think that. That's just not knowing the schedule. Where did Jim Shuttlesworth land? Nowhere yet that I know of. I know some people who have called him. We need a split field for qualifying at the Kings Royal. Takes pill draw luck out of it. With the invert, though, I think it gives everybody a crack. I mean, you could either time between 24th and 36th. I don't think it needs to be split because it messes up the format. I don't want that done. And if you go split field and then have just a regular invert for 6, I think it makes it too easy to qualify. I mean, look at the double down duels. You have 30 and 30 or 30 and 29, and everybody got to run. I don't like this all-inclusive thing either. Make it hard. It's a crown jewel. It's supposed to be difficult. So I'm okay with it the way it is. Garrett Williamson and Logan Schuchart were the best Woo guys this week. Only 2 World of Outlaws guys led laps. Garrett Williamson was one. Can anybody name the second one? It was not Logan Schuchart. Only 2 guys. And see if anybody can put it up in the next 2 minutes. Because it's in my top 50, which I posted. So if you're a member of the website, it's in there. I like Crouch as a person, but he has to be on the hot seat. How many bad wrecks has he caused and how many cars junked? I sure hope his engine stuttered when he junked Macedo. He's over his head. He said his visor was covered in mud. But you don't slow down on the front stretch. That's not the answer. If you're going to do that, go all the way down to the inside wall, like right away. You can't kind of just slow down on the front stretch. That wasn't good. Not good at all. Junked some stuff. Who put on a better show? High Limit on Wednesday, Thursday, or World of Outlaws Friday, Saturday? They were all there. It's not. I mean, Friday they had rain. There's nothing you can do about that around that place. It's a big half mile and it's fast. I thought the shows were all good. I thought even with the rain Friday, the Outlaws ran it through. So it was all the same guys, and the only difference was officials and race directors. But I thought the 4 shows were good. I think Sheldon is the guy who led laps. No, he is not. I'll give it to you guys. Emerson Axum led 3 laps. Great deep dive with Kenny Adams. I learned stuff about Kenny Adams that I didn't know. It was a really good deep dive. Check it out, guys. Kenny, he's done a lot in his life. He's wow. Is there a world where Gary Kaufman ever brings in a crew chief to try to get this team turned around? I mean, look, he controls it. He's the owner, but I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna be the case. I don't see that. It's him and Danny, and I think Danny likes the situation that's there now. He goes through this every third or fourth year where he struggles a little bit. It's a major struggle this year, and it's going to be tough to win races now because you have, I mean, from now until Knoxville, you're going to have invaders. So that is going to be a lot more difficult. So he's going to have a strong kick to the end of the season at the Labor Day duels and Port Royal there. And then after the Tuscarora 50, the races in here leading up to the National Open, so it's just a down year for him. What races in Ohio last week did Macedo run the Ford motor? He ran it at Attica, and then he ran it at Eldora. I don't know if he ran it on Saturday. I didn't check what he ran Saturday, but he ran the Ford up until that point. Bill Baylog, yeah. Bill Baylog can't seem to buy a break at Eldora. I'm almost starting to feel sorry for him whenever they race there. He shouldn't even unload. He just wrecks every time. That's why during the Joker's jackpot, he took time trials and loaded it up. He just wanted to shake it down, get ready for Friday, Saturday. Didn't make the A main on Friday. And of course, everybody sees what happened Saturday, and he just scratched. It's no luck there. I don't think he particularly likes the place very much. I don't think it fits his driving style. It's bad. Just bad. Macedo ran the Ford Saturday too. Yep, I didn't check it, but I didn't know if they put another motor in. Because they tore that car down pretty good from Friday night. Going to both high limit shows in New York this week. Don't know much about either track. Do they have to put on a good show? How are the facilities? I think State Line's sketchy. I think State Line's, I don't know about the track. I've heard different things. As far as Ransomville, I know a lot of people say good things about Ransomville. I expect them to be dry because, well, that's New York. I don't know if it's Ohio dry, but it's dry. Hi, Jeremy. Love the show. Sorry if this has already been addressed. Have seen the teams use a silver wing for qualifying. How much of an advantage is it? And what is different about these wings? They're just constructed, I think, a little different, maybe a little lighter, maybe an aerodynamic thing. Nothing illegal, nothing wild. Is it better? David Gravel's the best time trialer in the country, and he doesn't use it. So, Buddy Kofoid doesn't use it. Carson Macedo doesn't use it. Rico doesn't use it. So is it a distinct advantage? The numbers say no. So double file restarts in for the last two laps is normal for the Kings Royal. Yeah, again, I was trying to, and my memory, of course, I'm trying to think of another time that I saw a yellow flag that close to the end of that race. I think it's been a while. So I don't know if it changed or if it was always in and we just didn't see it. There was no reason. They didn't have a caution. So I'm not sure about that. I wondered that too on Saturday night. There's really no one to ask. I just heard that, well, they've always done that. Well, I don't know if they did. HK Classic, your thoughts? Don't have a lot of thoughts. I already went over the rule that I don't know the whole crisscross sliding thing before or after Dominic Gordon couldn't start. I don't understand that at all. The rule says crisscross, and then I guess they told the teams when he presented himself. Well, what does that matter? He didn't start. It doesn't matter. It should be, go by the rule. It should be a crisscross. And it was a top dominant track. So you have to wonder how that race changes with a top dominant track and Justin Sanders on the outside pole. So again, it just looks fishy. Just shenanigans. The lap count deal that you hit on at the 98.9 is the first thing I've disagreed with in a while. They had one caution for the 7S that equated to 3, maybe 4 laps. The laps in the beginning led to a 4 wide. So you're not getting rid of the 4 wide, especially with it being a crown jewel. Reality is the only thing they could do is shorten the race, and that's not going to happen. Well, and I could have swore the lap count is based off the bigger fuel cell, but I would be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that. I know High Limit bases it off 30. I don't know about the Outlaws. But here's the thing. They take too many pace laps. Sorry, they do. They took more than 4 because they buzzed the track. So they did that. So that was more. Secondly, and this is maybe, aren't we sick of the 4 wide yet? We see it every week. Is it special anymore? I know to me it's not. Do something different. Now, look, if it was an Outlaw show and the Outlaws were like High Limit, I'm sorry. And I know people will disagree with this, and that's fine. I'd like to see High Limit do something different. I don't know what that is, but everybody does the 4 wide now. They do the 4 wide at Speedweek. They do the 4 wide for the Outlaws. They do the 4 wide with High Limit. They do, I guess ASCS does 3 wide. My God, is it special? If you see some, my favorite food is spaghetti. If I eat spaghetti every day, aren't you going to get sick of it? I just don't. But the work area sucks up laps. They only needed 2. I mean, it's 55 laps for a 40-lap race. You should be able to go more than 2 cautions. There's a problem. Mandate, look, base it on 33-gallon tanks. You don't make it, you don't make it. Tough. And I know the big, crew chiefs don't like it because their car, they have to work on the setup. Yeah, it's called being a crew chief. I'm sorry. We got to evolve. We can make up excuses why stuff doesn't happen. But as long as you're not crushing tradition, which I guess is the 4 wide for the World of Outlaws, which is fine. But there's got to be a better way to do this. Come on, we put a man on the moon. We can't evolve as a sport. Fans hate fuel stops. I get more comments about this than probably anything. Fuel stops and handicap versus time trials in Pennsylvania. Loud is lying, by the way. He just posted a comment. He's lying because he doesn't eat pizza every day. You don't know until you do it. So I challenge him to eat pizza every day because I know he's not going to do it. There's different ways to fix it, and they just refuse to do it. It just comes down to not wanting to do it. That's it. Personally, I'll never get sick of spaghetti. Eric. You don't know unless you eat it every day. Jeremy is disappointed that PA Posse won the Kings Royal and not a Woo High Limit California driver. I don't care. I thought it was a great story. That's not true. I don't know why. I don't hate any region at all. I'm honest about the regions, and I'm honest about their drivers. I have no problem with Anthony Macri winning. I thought it was a good story, and I wrote what I thought was a good commentary on Macri winning, and so I'm not disappointed at all. Comments on Brian Brown's performance at Eldora. I know he's still dealing with his hand. He just got another procedure that Lauda. Brian Brown, Lauda kills me. Brian Brown did get another procedure to help his hand. He thought it was a little better this week. I think he is still dealing with that to a degree. I know the longer the race is, the more it like tingles and is uncomfortable. I'd use the word, maybe not pain, but uncomfortable. And they're off too. They had to totally change their motor package because Charlie Garrett retired. So I think there's a lot going on there. And talking to Brian Brown before the during driver intros or right before driver intros, he's not going to do it till he's 55. He told me that. So he said, I'm not on the Sammy Swindell plan, is exactly what he said. But I think probably a couple years yet. And I think he's hoping he can fix this wrist thing and go from there. Jeremy, the 4 wide is often imitated, never duplicated. Whatever. I don't know. I don't go to a race to watch the 4 wide. And I'm not bagging on it. It's fine. It's their trademark. Yet they never trademarked it. So can't be a trademark if you don't trademark it. Look, it's just an opinion. It just takes sometimes too long to line up. And it just feels to me, what do you care more about? So I guess it's in the hands of the fans. Do you hate fuel stops? Or are you willing to sacrifice sacrifice having fuel stops or having fuel stops so you can have all the other stuff, work area? And it's not one thing. If you really just want to take care of it, put 33-gallon tanks on them. That's it. It'll take care of it. Now, you're going to still have fuel stops every once in a while because NARC has 550 red or yellows and reds sometimes during an A main. Or sometimes in Pennsylvania, you have a lot of yellows. It happens. You're going to have a bad race every once in a while where there's a lot of caution. So you're going to have them. But on the last lap of a Crown Jewel, all I know is I was there and it didn't go over well. New and current fans, teams obviously want quicker programs. BAP's offering Colton. BAP's offering features done by 9 p.m. or money back guaranteed. Should fans support to voice their opinions, or does it become a moot point? I think there's a lot of things in play here. I think, obviously, high limits in town. A sprint car fan is going to go to Port Royal if they're spending money. Or they're going to watch it at home. Now, I do think you'll get there, and I found this year more than ever, there's fans who just like, and by the way, it is M-O-O-T, moot. There's more fans who just like dirt track racing. So they'll go to a micro race, or they'll go to a sprint car race. They'll go to a super sportsman race. They'll go to different types of racing. I think those guys will go to BAPS. And I think that's indicative of it. They'll go to see if you get them done by 9. I think it's an interesting promotion. I'd like to see it with a sprint car, although harder to do when you don't have starters. Although I don't know how many divisions you're having, but the sportsmen have starters. So I think yes and no. I think two things can be true at once. I think your crowd will go up, and that shows that people care about it. But I also think that the sprint car people who just like sprint cars, they're not going to go there just because. I think they probably agree with the idea and would like to see it, but they're not going to sacrifice a sprint car race to do it. So I think two things can be true at once. And I think you need a bigger sample size as well. One race, I mean, people are away, vacations, whatever the case is. Weather, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like on Saturday. Again, also factors. So it'll be interesting. Colton Gauss is the number one promoter in Central PA. That is 100% true. SCU t-shirt idea, 33-gallon fuel tanks or scratch. I'm not going to put out novelty shirts. I have to pay for those designs. Santos on line 3. Santos, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Jeremy?
Not too bad.
Just real quick. I put something in the comment section, but I'm not sure if it got missed. I'm curious to know, in your opinion, and I know you touched on it at the 99, and it's kind of why I bring it up. So from what I understand, the lap count is based off of a 30, or it's not the 33, I think it's a 30-gallon tank. They only had one caution up until the Basin caution, which was for Wyndham.
Yep.
It is off the pace and on the track and et cetera, et cetera. And from what I saw on Dirt Vision, that only equated to about 2 to 3 laps. So the work area, in my opinion, kind of moot there.
Okay.
I will give you the whole 8 to 10 pace laps, including the 4 wide, which is brutal. But I mean, I don't know what you change outside of shortening the race. And I don't think that's even in the possibility with it being such a big event and a crown jewel. So what would you change from that event, rewatching it and all that fun stuff and being there? Like, what would you have done differently to avoid, unfortunately, what happened with the open red with 1 to go with guys running out of fuel?
I mean, I would add less pace laps. I probably don't hit the track as hard, so they have to buzz it. To me, why did Chris Wyndham get to work on the car? He didn't have a flat.
Did the Outlaws adapt to that rule? I thought High Limit did, but Outlaws didn't.
No, I heard they talked about it in the drivers' meeting. I heard the director. I heard the director say something about it. You got to have a flat. Now that was a couple days earlier. The Kings Royal, again, little different. And 33-gallon tank. Buyer beware. My laps would be based on a 33-gallon tank for a 40-lap race. That's it. And I tell everybody.
So from what I understand, so are they basing it off of 30 then?
I know High Limit bases it off 30 because I asked Mike Hess. Now, I don't know what the Outlaws do.
Because I know they don't do it on 28.
No, I don't know what the Outlaws do. But I know there's people running 28s. I know there are.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I mean I know they run. I know there's guys out there that run them, and I think they're all aware that the possibility's there. And I know from the bigger events that I know it was covered during the drivers' meeting in May that they tell them in the drivers' meeting what they base it off of. But I can't remember if it's 30 or 33. When I reference May, I mean at the Grove during the drivers' meeting for the Morgan Cup.
Yeah, I didn't
hear
hear
if it's 30 or 33.
I didn't hear anything during the 2 drivers' meetings I went to about the tanks. I was at boat drivers meetings and I didn't.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
hear
like
it.
I said, I was
Maybe I missed it, but I don't think
mainly
I
just
did.
trying to pick your brain because, like, I was mainly just trying to pick your brain because, like I said, I saw the 98.9 and I was like, well, the work area was kind of moot. Like, I think it was like a non-factor basically outside of Wyndham. The pace laps is definitely brutal. I didn't think to count in the fact that they buzzed the track though, so that's a valid point. But like, with the whole pace lap deal, like you can't. Don't get me wrong. I would agree that a 4 wide, because they do it at every single outlaw event, so like obviously it's oversaturated, but that's obviously not something you can cut from a crown jewel. So I was just curious, like what you would have done differently, but it makes sense with the pace lap deal.
The pace lap deal, I would base it on 33 gallons. I would almost force these guys to run 33 gallons. I would force them.
Do you ever see, from your knowledge basis and from your ear to the ground, do you ever foresee that becoming like a reality?
No, because they run the Outlaws and look, it's going to start with High Limit or the Outlaws. That's just a fact. And they go to enough small tracks where it doesn't become an issue. So, and I think they're content if they have a fuel stop. I don't think they feel it's a big deal. I just don't. But it's going to happen. There's this rule out there. If it can happen, it will happen. And look, it wouldn't have changed the outcome. Thankfully, it didn't change the outcome. It cost Garrett Williamson 3 spots. And but he didn't even mention it in a post-race interview I had with him. So, I mean, he was running out, but he thought he could have made it to the last half lap they needed to go. It's just, I don't think it's become so egregious that they feel they need to make a change. And let's face it, racing is very, very uber against change. I mean, take High Limit out of the equation, whether it's Pennsylvania. I don't know about California because I'm not there. A lot of places, they don't like change. So it is definitely a struggle to get change. And this isn't me bagging on the Outlaws. I like the Outlaws. I have no problem with the Outlaws. I have no problem with High Limit or any of them. But I guess they feel it's not a problem. I do not see them going to a 33-gallon mandatory tank ever.
Okay. One last thing, and then I'll let you go. I don't want to take up too much of your time. You had touched base on this a little bit earlier. Someone had commented about like the National Open being a crown jewel based off the history, but not necessarily an event. Is there any race in PA, examples being Tuscarora 50, Bob Weichert, the National Open, obviously, etc., that you would consider an event? And if not, what makes a crown jewel an event? And also, what changes would you make? I'm curious to know about that.
Well, a crown jewel to me, there's 3 of them. That's it. And Macri even said that. Macri said that in a couple interviews. It's the Kings Royal, Knoxville Nationals, Williams Grove National Open. I think you need prestige. I think you need money. It's got to be. And the Tuscarora 50, while I think it's a major, it hasn't been 50,000 for very long. There was a time when that was 10. Like it wasn't. It's not even 20 years. I mean, it's just not a very long time. I don't even know if it's 10 years. Might be coming up on it now. So prestige, obviously money, and I think history, obviously your history, prestige, and money. Look, when I leave central Pennsylvania, nobody asks me who won at Lincoln, Port Royal, or Babs. They asked me who won at Williams Grove. That still holds true. I think in Pennsylvania, we're a little jaded against it because we see it every week. But outside of PA, Williams Grove's highly regarded. So what can they do to be better? I think they just need to plan. I think they need to do the things that make it an event. There used to be the auction. They used to be or the benevolent fund auction thing that Colton used to do. I think you need to do some things, activities during the day, maybe something after the race is over. They do nothing. You just go home. So I think they just need more stuff going on. Maybe something on Thursday to kind of lead into the National Open. Something to kind of give a little oomph to what's going on there. Knoxville has it. Eldora has it. National Open, it's waning. I think they need to revamp kind of maybe what they do during the day and maybe plan some other things around the race itself.
Right on. I appreciate your time, Jeremy. I look forward to watching the rest of the show. And have a good night.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks. Eric, put in large letters for Jeremy. Woo bases off 33 gallons. Yeah, I said I didn't know. I didn't know what they use it off of. I find it hard to believe it's off 33 gallons. I find that very hard to believe. And the reason is because I know the lap counts at some of these tracks. Because I've sat in the booth and 55 laps, 33-gallon tank. It's only 55 laps at Eldora. And the air was not that great. So I could see him basing it off 30, but not 33. Per Section D of the World of Outlaw Rulebook. That's fine. 33 gallons of fuel will be considered as part of the formula. Okay, that's considered. Utilized when determining the total number of laps prior to refueling in any specific and or announced event. Then to me, there should be less fuel stops. Cody Hartlob finishing the season in the BK77 just announced starting this Saturday. There you go. I was wondering if they would give him a call or AJ Fleck. By the way, thank you for pointing that out in the rule book. I question that. I question if they say that, but then when it comes down to you're figuring out the laps, you use 30 just to be careful. Or just so I don't know. I'll talk to some teams about it. But if they do, then I'm wrong. I can accept that. Provisionals have to go. Drivers should not be able to skip their last chance qualifying in the C main and go straight to the A main. Fans pay to see drivers on the track. I've talked about that before. I don't like provisionals at all to begin with. And the whole C main, you have to run the last chance showdown. So I don't know. I just don't believe in provisionals at all. So it doesn't matter whether they run it or they don't. I don't like them. So by Jeremy Hall of Fame standards, if Macri retired this is a good question. Retired today, he's a Hall of Famer after 2 back-to-back Kings Royal wins. I think, yes. 4 Speed Week titles. He's won at tracks outside of the area. He's 2 crown jewels. I think he's going to win the Williams Grove National Open. I said that today in my top 50. I think Anthony Macri will win the Williams Grove National Open. So yeah, I if I'm going to say, Carson Macedo, who has 2 National Open wins. Now he runs with the Outlaws more and has more Outlaw wins. Macri's looking pretty good for a Hall of Fame. Yes. You and I have been involved in the sport. And see, here's what I'm saying. You and I have been involved in the sport long enough to know those rules are guidelines and not total factual rules. And that's what I mean. I think I think, yes, there's places they do, but I think sometimes, you roll into, I broke my pen. You roll into a track and you just, we're going to be careful tonight. So, but I could be wrong. And I'll be the first to admit I could be wrong on that. Will on line 5. Will, how are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad, Will.
Well, we've talked about this fuel cell thing till we're blue in the face. And to me, it's apparent that one change in this whole scenario would fix the problem of worrying about how many laps, this or that. Just one change would fix all this. And it's hard to believe that the teams are so against it in this day and age.
Starters?
No.
Oh.
Just going, mandating the biggest fuel cell you can get, on the half miles.
You mean a Silver Crown tank?
Well, is there you guys, I don't know much about fuel cells in sprint cars or any other sport, but you guys talk about the 33. Is that the biggest one you can get?
That's the biggest one that's used in sprint car racing. And I know with the bladder and everything, it doesn't hold 33 gallons. It is about 31 and a half, maybe. But the 28 is holding less. And I just, look, if Larson runs a 33 and Gravel runs a 33 for a reason. And they're two successful guys. So that's just where I'm at on it. The fuel cell thing, it would work itself out if they just do it. I just, whatever. It's.
And the other thing you were speaking about was the 4 wide is, yes, it's overdone. I mean, yeah, it's like the guy climbing on top of the wing. That's overdone.
Oh my God, it's every race.
Bring back kissing the trophy girl.
Okay.
Well, yeah, bring back kissing the trophy girl.
I think there's some other things that we have to worry about with that little gem.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's just to the people that go to the sprint car races every week that live, die, okay, we've seen it, but there's all these new fans that come in, and I've been at the race and sitting in a seat, and they you hear them talking amongst themselves, and they'll say, "Hey, they're going to do the 4 wide." It's like they've never seen it live or whatnot.
Look, Mike Hess said to me today, and look, I can't deny this. He said not everybody who's been at one of their races has seen the 4 wide. I get it. If I was changing stuff, it would be the last thing on my list to not have fuel stuff. It would be last because I know it's tradition and so on and so forth. I mean, do I get all geeked up about it anymore? No, because I've seen it, I've seen it so many times. But just because I have doesn't mean everyone else has. So trust me, that would be I would work on fuel tanks. I would be the pace laps and the work area. All those things would be way before the 4 wide. So from that standpoint, I understand both sides. I'm not going to die on that hill as much as other stuff.
Yeah. Those are just things that you see over the years and keep coming up with a comment, to speed up the show, you know. But I totally agree with the pace lap thing. And I don't think that in sprint car racing, I don't, you hear these guys say, let us go out and do one more 2-lap session. We're going to learn a million things about our car if we do it. Go out for that 2-lap, buzz the track thing. I just don't agree with it. Prepare the track for the cars to race, and then let them race.
Yeah, I mean, look, nobody's changing anything. By the way, it's not going to happen. It's just not.
I have to agree.
It's not changing.
I mean, it keeps people like you in business, right?
Well, I mean, there gets to a point. It's like safety. I barely talk about safety anymore because safety of convenience. It's not safety. I mean, case in point, Friday, I thought the cars were on the track too long when it started raining. It's a half mile. It's Eldora. When you flip at that place, it hurts. You could flip to Sydney or to Indiana. So, and they just left them on the track 2 to 3 groups too long. And I don't know what they were thinking. So I get sick of talking about safety, and I'll get sick of talking about the fuel cell and the fuel stop thing too. Because again, I don't feel it's going to change.
Yeah, and I've noticed sitting in the grandstands at tracks, at least in California, when they throw a red towards the end of the race for, if there's a yellow and they turn it into a red for a fuel stop, the fans don't like it.
No, fans get sick of that. Well, they think you're influencing the race.
Yeah, they're not happy about it.
Yeah, they
correct.
Now, Lauda said, refuel after the 4 wide. The only problem with that is you're going to still take pace laps after that, and God knows how many they'll want to do the 4 wide again. I don't know, but at least if you did that, it would not be a affect the race thing. It wouldn't affect the race. So I think that would be more accepted than anything.
Yeah, I think what increases those laps also on the pace laps is that for some reason, I don't know when it changed or why, but they let the cars hang back so they can get one more hot lap session before the green flag. I just don't get it.
No.
It used to be the cars were told when you hit the track, you find your position behind the pace car.
Don't disagree. Now, that being said, High Limit and the Outlaws get their shows done. They do a great job getting their shows done. So you got to be, transparent and say the good. They both get their shows done. So it's good in that regard.
I agree with that. Well, thanks for taking my call, Jeremy.
No problem, Will. I appreciate it. All right. Got about a half hour left. What do we got, Eric? I can't see Eric because he has his camera off because of the new screen. Has anyone ever won all 3 crown jewels in the same year? I used to know this. And I actually wrote something about this once, and I'm just drawing a blank. I don't think so. If anybody did, it was Donnie Schatz or Steve Kinzer. I don't think any. I can't. 1985. Doug Wolfgang did it. I think Doug Wolfgang did it in 85 because he won the Kings Royal, and then he won the Knoxville Nationals, and then won the National Open. So I know Doug Wolfgang did it. Pretty sure he did. And then somebody just said Schatz in 2007. So yes, it's been done twice. Do you think that PA outside of BAPS lack of promotion is either caused by laziness or being too old school? I think they could do better, which I agree with you. Probably old school. I mean, it's much like, say, newspapers. Newspapers, have cut back to 2 and 3 days a week, and they have gone to the online product. But I think for a lot of years before they did that, they were used to people buying it. So they didn't really adjust till, later down the road. It took them a while, and they took some hits, and people got laid off and whatnot. Now papers have made that adjustment, but it took a while. So I think a lot of it is old school. I still think racetracks don't know how to use social media at all. I don't think, and why would they? They don't go to school for it. They don't. I think the powers that be, the people who are making the decisions, I think they view social media as bad. And there are aspects of it that are bad. There's aspects I hate. But I do think you have to embrace some of it. It's just the way of the world. And you can adjust or you can fall behind. You have a choice. Nobody, so I think it's more of an old school thing. What happened to Marks on Saturday? Not sure. I didn't get over to him quick enough. So I'm sorry. I just didn't get over there and see what happened. Very few cars had an in-cockpit shock adjuster hooked up for engine heat. Then I noticed most high-limit teams suddenly had right rears hooked up right before qualifying. Do teams try to keep that a secret? I don't know. I know Tyler Ross said to me when the Outlaws were in, he forgot about his shock adjuster because he was just, you can use it. So he just forgot about it. And then of course he did, he took care of it, but I think teams just forget it, or I don't think they try and keep it a secret. I don't think they do. Maybe. I don't know. How many Central PA teams are going to Lernerville tomorrow? Lincoln will struggle to get a full field. I agree with the second part of that. I think you'll just see Macri there. That's it. Jeremy has a better chance of attending Sealands Grove than being the Royal Sovereign at Eldora. That's not nice. Yeah, I don't see me getting that call. I'd do it. If I got asked, I would do it. But, I mean, they got other guys who, more important guys to do that. Will there be a live show this Saturday night? No, I will be at the Greg Hodneck Classic. It's a high-limit show. I will have a preview show for an hour Saturday afternoon before I leave, though. But no, I will not be at home on Saturday night. Are you aware of any fan getting hit in the pits? Always some close calls. If it happens, does that end pit passes? I can't believe people don't get hit more. I'm amazed. Walking around these pit areas now, the people don't move, especially when the cars are getting motor heat. That's when it seems like it's the worst. Because hot laps, kind of people start clearing out of there. But man, motor heat, and then of course, yes, some hot laps. I'm surprised more people aren't hit. Look, the deal at Wayne County didn't stop people from going in the infield at Attica. So I don't think it'll end pit passes. I think, again, it'll be one of those things where it'll become a problem before they actually be proactive and solve it. But I don't see it changing. Somehow people avoid it. I can't believe these drivers do a better job dodging obstacles in the pit area than they do racing on the track. And that's not a slam on them. I can't believe people don't get hit in pit areas. The stuff I see. I'm amazed by that. These drivers are dodging bullets out there. Sorry, late to the party. What about Tim's going to Knoxville, not trying for the Kings Royal? That was the plan all along. He was going to leave after Friday night. He's running for points at Knoxville. That's the next thing on the list before they would become a national touring team. Talked to Shane Liebig about that on Friday night. It was also $20,000 to win the 360 race. So they were going to run both. And where would he have had to finish? He would have had to finish in the top, 3 at the Kings Royal to make that. He's gone to Knoxville. That was the plan all along. On the live show last week, I mentioned that Garrett Williamson might grab one of those big dollar races this summer. He was on the way Saturday, almost. I think he gets a win real soon. I like Garrett Williamson a lot. I like the progress he's made. A year ago, he had 8 top 5 finishes all season. He already has 12 this year, and he's contending for wins. He's leading laps. So I really like the direction they're going. I think he's led 57 laps since Wilmot, 25 at Eldora, and then, of course, Wilmot, he led 32 in the running for both of them. And the thing that's even more impressive is that he's not good at either track, really, in the past. But he rolled in there. They picked up speed. They're just making progress. That's what I like to see. And I think Garrett Williamson gets a win real soon. I told Connor Ferguson that he should do an infield beers with you for one of the nights at Knoxville. Shoot him a text. Always Race Day and Sprint Car Unlimited collab would be fire. Well, I'm not going to drink a beer, but just because I don't, you don't have to drink a beer. So just give me a water, and I'll be okay. I would probably do that if asked. I don't do the collab thing very much. I don't know why. It's not that I don't. I just kind of do my own thing. I get wrapped up in doing my own thing, and it doesn't leave a lot of time for anything else. But I would probably do that. Jeremy, did Ryan Timms make a good decision to go to Knoxville after leaving Eldora? Yeah. Now, if it rains out, then I wouldn't have thought they'd have opening ceremonies at 11 p.m., but they did. And yeah, it's a good decision. He wasn't overly fast at Eldora. Wasn't exactly a good 3-day stint for him. Do you know if Eldora picks up the tab for the monster trucking Cole Macito's frame? I know High Limit gave him start money. Now, whether Eldora reimbursed High Limit, I don't know. Jeremy, any word on who will be driving the BK Motorsports 77 car at Port Royal? They said it was released that Cody Hartlaub is. Do you think Ryan Newman makes an A main tomorrow night? It's going to depend on the car count. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect from the car count perspective. I'll say no. Only nice thing about the work area is watching the camaraderie among the race teams. Yeah, I mean, it's not, somebody said something about a phone call. We got a couple prank calls, which is why Eric hasn't put any through recently. Do they say Baba Booey? That's what I want to know. You and Eric collab. We do that on the weekends. If they say Baba Booey, I put them through. That's right. You always put a Baba Booey call through. Do you think Brock Zierfoss wins a high limit show this year? No. I think Aaron Reitzel's going to get hot. And I think Rico as well. So no, not this year. Is there much of an advantage to the teams using a dedicated wing for qualifying? I don't think so. The best qualifier in the country doesn't use one, and that's gravel. Well, he doesn't use a silver one. So, why is my daughter calling? She knows I'm doing the show. Is there a conflict with Milton Hershey sponsoring both Brock Zierfoss and World Racer Group? No, I think no conflict. Milton Hershey is trying to get the word out, and I think, the Outlaws have that Milton Hershey day before the Morgan Cup. Goes over really well, get a lot of fans there. The drivers go into the school, and they do a lot of activities there with the kids. So no, I don't think there's any conflict. I think Milton Hershey and what they do is good for the sport. I think that deal at Milton Hershey, where they get all the teams there and they're in the schools and all that, I think it's one of the best promotions in sprint car racing. I really do. I think those are the kind of things you need to do to get the younger crowd. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get 500 people to show up at your outlaw shows, but I do think that you're doing community-based stuff. I think that's one of the things BAPS does so well, community-based stuff. And I just think it's one of the best promotions I see. Brian on line 8. Brian, how are you?
Hey, sir. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Not too bad.
Question for you. Do you ever see Joe Mooney maybe getting poached and going to a bigger team that travels more, or do you think he's happy staying home in PA and still running for those big races there?
He's already been, they've already tried to get him. And, KKR, I think at the beginning tried. I think he's happy where he's at. The only thing that I think that would change that is if, for whatever reason, Macri would go somewhere else and then Joe would probably go somewhere else. As right now, there's no incentive for him to leave. I mean, he has a good team, good owner, good driver. He's closer to home, and he gets a chance to win big races. They go to all the big races outside of PA, and in Pennsylvania, you can run for good money, let's face it, almost every weekend or every other weekend. So for him, it makes sense. And they've already tried to get him, and he turned them down.
Do you see a time where Macri maybe goes full-time outlaw racing and Joe jumps back out on the road full-time? Or do you think Macri's also content staying home in PA and just running the big races like you said?
He has said to me, I've asked him this, he said, I'd like to try it once, but I know he's a homebody. I know he likes to stay home and he likes to be able not be on the road for a long period of time. I don't see him running outlaws unless it's in another ride.
Do you ever see a time where he leaves his family car for a full-time outlaw ride just to try it?
I think the only way he does it is if that team would fold, because I'm sure there is a shelf life with it. I mean, whether it's his dad putting money in or getting sponsors, I think there could come a time in the future where Anthony will go somewhere else. But I think as long as it's available, no. I think we saw that. And I think Anthony knows what he has, where he's at. And I think the only way that changes is if the team itself would go away.
Got it. Well, appreciate the time tonight. Love the show, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Yep. Do you think Macri will ever race in Australia? I don't know. I guess he could. I mean, he would be a popular get down there. You never say, that he never will. Of course he could. But again, I do think Anthony likes being at home. I've talked to him about it before, and he does. He likes that. So he likes to be able to go out, run a race, come home. So could he go to Australia? Yeah. Will I say he never will? No. But I'd be surprised if he went. A lot of people say Bell is as good as Larson. May we please have him prove it first? Whoa, shots fired. I know Chaz is going on and on about this. You know what? They're both good. They're both really talented. Kyle runs more sprint car races, obviously. I think if Christopher Bell ran as many, I think he'd be good. He'd win races as well. As far as who's better, I mean, you're splitting hairs there. So, yeah, I don't get into that debate much. Christopher Bell, he has a day job. And I think he's dedicated to that to the point where he doesn't want to go off and race every week, race during the week when he's going to run NASCAR. I'm not going to hold it against him that he doesn't run a lot of sprint car races. I think last year he ran a good amount, and I thought he fared well. Great to see a few Aussies watching. Yes, I agree. Australian racing's interesting to me. I'd like to go to Perth for, go down there, but I can't, I'm not going over Christmas. I'm just not doing it. It's just, the year's so long, I don't need to make it longer. Did you talk to the CJB5 team about running coilovers on the front? I see they had them on Saturday night. No, but I do know they switched motor. They did run a different motor on Saturday. So I did not see the coilovers, but I do know they switched brand of motor to I think they ran a rider over the weekend, Saturday night. Did you Airbnb or hotel for Knoxville? There's a very nice lady who allows, she goes to her parents, and Brent Smith and I have the house for a week, Saturday to Saturday. Very nice lady, very generous. And so we pay her to stay there. It's like 3 blocks away from the track. It's fantastic. And as long as she's there and she's willing to let us stay there, that's what we're going to do, because it's very convenient. Why the caution at Eldora for the 7S? I'll tell you why they do that. Because it's so fast there, and when guys are slowing down, they just don't want to bunch them up and pile them up. It's different than it used to be years ago. And I know it's harder for the older school guys. Oh, why are they throwing the caution? Because the wheels haven't stopped. Well, they're faster now. They are more cautious about guys slowing down in the middle of the field. So they throw the caution in hopes of getting guys slowed down enough that they don't all pile into them. So it's depending where they are. Now, if it's at the back, you're not going to see it. But if it's in the middle of the field, you're going to see a caution. This happened a couple times, and they were consistent about it. Would it happen at, say, an Attica or a smaller track where it's not as fast? I think it's a different story. But at Eldora, I don't think people realize how fast that place is and how quick things happen, especially if you've never been there. And watching it on television doesn't do it justice. You got to be there in person and see it. And they just get in the middle there, in the middle of the pack. They just want to slow guys down. So I have no problem with that. Especially with how the track was, say, Friday night, for instance. Okay, folks, we'll be 400 watches, only 90 likes. Hit the like button, please. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I got to come up with a 90 at 9 tonight. I was all ready to do something on the races from Oswego and and Lernerville, and well, we know what happened. They bagged out, so now I gotta scramble a little bit. Just a fun question: what percentage of chance do you think Macri has in winning Knoxville, the 50 and the National Open all this year? Boy, I like gambling and I like wagering. I'd say probably 50-1. I'd say there's a 50-1. If you're going percentage, 20%. Knoxville's the hang up for him. He's finished 5th there, but like the Tuscarora 50, I think he's going to win the National Open. So now Tusky 50, yeah, I'm definitely going to mention the heart lob thing. Yes, that's definitely in the 90 at 9. So they helped me out there. But yeah, Knoxville's the hang up for me. I think he's not as good at Knoxville as he is at Eldora, obviously. And I think there's some guys who are better at Knoxville than they are at Eldora. You know, so I think you got a gravel Rico deal, Knoxville. By the way, also, before we get to this question, Macri hasn't run at Knoxville this year. He missed those races. So I think that's another kind of variable there. Haven't seen the Floorbook 5 since Huset's High Banks. Was thinking we'd see it at Knoxville by now. Any insight there? Guy Floorbook told me if nothing happened at Huset's, he would run Knoxville before the Nationals. When that'll be, not sure. I'm traveling from Australia for the Knoxville Nationals again in a couple of weeks. Jeremy, I'm thinking of doing the Kings Royal next year. What are the pros and cons of each event? I'd see no cons with the Kings Royal. It checks all the boxes. Good event. All the stars are going to be there. It feels like the Roman Coliseum to me. I say that a lot. People are sick of hearing it. But when I go to Eldora, and I stand in the infield, I feel like I'm in the Roman Coliseum. It goes all the way around for the most part. And there's a stretch on the back stretch where there's no fans, but it's an event. The food is cheap and affordable. That's the other thing. They don't try and gig you at the refreshment stand. Very accommodating. Plenty of vendors. Shirt vendors, anything you could want there. Now, it's in the middle of a field, and you're not going to have a town and all that. But Greenville's a short, just a hop, skip, and a jump away. You have Sydney, Pequot, you have Troy, you have Salina, you have enough towns around there to stay in. You can't go wrong with Eldora. Knoxville, same thing. The town is buzzing all week for the Nationals. I can't say really anything bad about either of them. The only thing that sometimes with both events, they can get a little long on the final night. Sometimes they drag it out a little more because you are there. It's a destination event. So you're there. And if it rains, they'll just run it. Like Eldora will run until 4 a.m. But for the most part, the qualifying nights, like the first 3 nights at Eldora, get done quick as long as it doesn't rain. Knoxville, the first 2 nights, they get done really quick. Friday's longer because more guys run, but still do a good job. Saturday drags a little bit, but come on, if that's the worst thing you have to worry about, you're doing well. You can't go wrong with either event. And if you haven't seen Eldora up close and personal, if you haven't seen the Kings Royal or been to the Kings Royal, it's truly right up there with the Knoxville Nationals as the best event in sprint car racing. Fairly new viewer, do you run throughout the winter? Yes. Yes. All year long, baby. All year long. Just keep coming back. hats off to Rico's professionalism after the Kings Royal. That had to be a gut punch. Rico Abreu was good all week. It's his second straight runner-up finish in the Kings Royal. He was second Thursday in the Joker's Jackpot. He was third last year in the Joker's Jackpot. This guy's flirting with winning a huge race there and a crown jewel there. I do, because I think he wants to win so much for Ricky Warner, who's obviously battling some health issues. And he said it to me after the Kings Royal. You never know when it's a guy's last race. So very emotional. I think he's frustrated. But, yeah, Rico is the ultimate professional. And I think he's going to win a Kings Royal at some point. Man, he's close. And same with Knoxville. I think that he puts a lot of pressure on himself to win those events. He's performed well. He's just gotten beaten. I love all the Macri haters. He sandbagged, changed the format. Highest was easy. Boy, are they going to be pissed after Knoxville. I don't understand it. I thought Macri earned every bit of it, especially what he had to overcome. I thought, he only had, coming into the Kings Royal, coming into Eldora, he only had 8 starts since the back injury. He wasn't right totally at Pennsylvania Speed Week. You could see it, especially the first couple nights. I think he got better as the week wore on, but he still wasn't up to par. And he came into Eldora, wasn't really good. They switched the car, totally switched the car around, and they got better Saturday night. And then you had the history. History was against him. Only one guy has won back-to-back Kings Royals. Macri just became the second. So I don't understand the angst towards Anthony Macri, but I guess it's there, and I don't know if people don't like a winner or what. Not sure how I feel about the work area, but what the 41 team did getting that car back on the track was amazing. Look, I concede that. I looked at that car when it came back. I said, there's no way. And then they went to work on it. And I think one of the major guys was Cole Macedo. Cole Macedo can work on a car. I think he's better at Carson at it, probably. So, no, I'll applaud the effort to get it done. They didn't wait on him. It took 8 minutes. I taped it. And there were some cars that came back after him. So you get, obviously, extra time. And until I kicked my cat. So, and until they get people fired and everything, it was a great effort. I don't deny that. I'm not a big fan of the work area, but it was good stuff. Where do you see regional and local racing in 10 years? Ooh, that's loaded. Will it be only traveling series at that point, or weekly shows coming to an end? I think if they don't make adjustments, yes. They've got to make adjustments to these things. They've got to embrace change. They got to, okay, Pennsylvania. Okay, first off, Knoxville, they start in April and they're done in late August. It's a very short season. Houston starts in May and they're done after Labor Day or at Labor Day. So I think they don't have a lot of local shows. Pennsylvania, California has it, but it's kind of split between 360s and 410s. Then you have crossover, but Pennsylvania is, I'm concerned about weekly racing because they've added the PA series and the cost is higher for them, for the fan, and you're seeing the same guys. So something's got to give there. Number one. Number two, I do think they need to come up with a better schedule. I do think the days of starting maybe in February and going till November are a little, I think we're past that. Now, BAP's running in November is kind of a different deal because they only run 10 shows or 11 shows a year. So I think BAP's can get away with that. But yes, I think there needs to be changes to the weekly show. Regionals, I think the regional series are fine. I think the All-Stars have put a decent product on the track. They don't have stars, but that's not what they're there for anymore. I don't think they're there to have Aaron Reitzel, Justin Peck, and Tyler Courtney. I think they're a developmental series. I think Power Eye, developmental series. I think Narc's a developmental series, honestly. I know there's really no place else to run 410s out there, but let's face it, look at the guys who come out of there. So I do think regional series are fine. I'm concerned about the weekly show, and I do think they need to change in some fashion. Should Macedonia have been let back out of the track without a Jacob's ladder? I don't know the tech rules on it. I didn't know he didn't have a Jacob's ladder. I know he came back in, and I know there wasn't a problem. I know guys have raced without the Jacob's ladder. So I guess I'm not going to beat him up too much for that. How about Huset's? I think Huset's not quite there because everyone not there. I just don't think they've been around long enough. I don't think there's enough history to the race. But forget whether they're there or not there. I don't think they've been around long enough with those events. I mean, those events are what, 5 years old? 4 or 5 years old? That's not long enough. How many Central Pennsylvania guys do you think will get at Lernerville tomorrow night? Get one. I think you'll get the Anthony Macri, and that's it. In the 80s and 90s, everyone ran 40-gallon tanks. Again, different time. And I'm not saying I'd love to know why it went away. I wasn't covering the sport then. I was a fan. So I don't quite know when that changed or why. True, false. Crouch, Randall, and Lynch will all be on a national series next year. False. False. Jeremy, where do you think the sport is going in the next few years? That's a loaded question because I think your national audience is growing for your national events. I think your big races are fine. I think they're good. I think people want to see that. There's an interest there. I'm concerned about the weekly show. I'm concerned that what has happened is it's not so much huge growth. I think it's more people have shifted from weekly racing to caring more about national tour racing because you can see it on TV now, streaming. So I'm not saying there's not some growth. I don't think it's here and here. Like, I don't think it's way, way different because I think there's been a shift. Because while the crowds and the viewership on Flow and Dirt Vision are good for High Limit and the Outlaws, come to Lincoln tomorrow night. Come to Port Royal when it's just a regular show. Williams Grove when it's a regular show. It looks a lot different than it used to. So I think it's a shift. Now, I'm not saying it hasn't experienced some growth, but I do think people are only looking at glass half full on the growth aspect of it. I think it's a way deeper discussion that needs to be had before we can just say, oh, look at the growth. Unbelievable. Go to the local shows. They've gone down significantly. And it's not like crap tracks. It's decent facilities. So I think that's a loaded question, and I think it's not a simple answer. And I worry that the local show go away. Car counts for Saturday and Sunday at Port. I realize no Outlaws coming. 50. I think you'll get 50. It's the Weicker. I think you'll draw for that. You're going to get high limit guys. You're going to get, 17 of them. And you'll be able to pull 33 locals, I think, for that race. Port just had their ninth race lost to weather. So I think those guys, I think you're going to get their local cars up there. Robert Higgins' line one, I see OJ and he looks scared. If you get a chance, listen to Robert Higgins. I see OJ and he looks scared. It's great. Howard Stern back in the 90s, the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s. It doesn't get any better for entertainment. Fabulous. Now he's kind of just doing interviews and stuff. But boy, back in the day, oh God, it was funny. Got me through work days a lot. Deweese go winless for the remainder of 2026? Yes. You know what? No. He's going to win a race in September at like Williams Grove or something. One of those filler races. I think he gets a win. So I do think he gets another win. TJ Stutz, Ethan Stutz, and Tanner Thorson were all working on the Macedo 41 in the work area. Yes, they were. A lot of people kind of gathered there to do that. And per the question about Pennsylvania guys going to Lernerville, I could see TJ Stutz staying out there for that. Not sure if he is, but I could see it. I forgot about him. Any thoughts on Crouch this weekend? Not really. He made a couple mistakes, and when you make those at Eldora Speedway, you pay maximum penalty. Knoxville and Eldora, you make a mistake, they're hard licks, or something bad's going to happen. Toowoomba has some of the best sprint car racing in Australia on a weekly basis, and with 3 big shows each summer. Well, I'm not going over in the summer. I guess their summer. It's what is it, a 16-hour flight? Oh, well, I don't know if I could sit in a plane that long. And again, it's the winter time. I do like to downshift a little. So maybe someday when my daughter gets a little older, my daughter turns 14 in a month, and I want to enjoy winter. We enjoy hockey together during the winter, and it's just something that's important to me. Need an SCU Australia racing package. That would be good. I'm not going to deny that. I used to have somebody over there. Scott Templeton used to cover it for me. Now he got busy and his life changed as well. So I'd love to have somebody over there who could write for me. Why was Gage Pulkerbeck name on the Outlaws expected entries list for tonight when High Limit was supposed to race tonight? I don't know. Maybe he decided to go up there. That could be. I have no idea. Maybe because of weather. I don't know. Thoughts on Rico's recent finishes? I think he's been good. He's been fast. It's just somebody seemed to be better each night. And, Larson obviously was good for the Joker's jackpot. Macri found the middle bottom and was better on Saturday. And then that's it. I mean, I think Rico was fast. I think he was one of the most consistent cars all week. Wagner will be at Lernerville. Okay, Logan Wagner. Yeah, he goes out there every once in a while. How frustrated do you think Double D is? I think extremely frustrated. I'll be curious if he goes to Lincoln tomorrow. I texted him. He didn't get back to me. So we'll see. But yeah, I think he's extremely, extremely frustrated. Probably more than he has been maybe in his career. Jeremy, how much banking did Tony take out? I don't know the number. I just know he took banking out. I can't remember when they did it. And it's still Eldora. I know they're not up on the fence as much as they used to be as far as how banked it is, but it's still fun to watch. World Finals in Charlotte has been on the schedule for nearly 20 years. Would it become a crown jewel if Saturday paid $100,000? Not right away. You got to pay $100,000. You don't automatically pay $100,000 and then all of a sudden you're a crown jewel. It's on the schedule for 20 years, but you gotta pay that for an amount of time. That's just my opinion. And you have to have some staying power with that purse, and that purse probably could go to that because they make a ton down there. But then you have late models and you have modifieds on the program, and that kind of takes away from 100,000. But I like World Finals. I think it's a good capper to the season, and the racing's pretty good. It's very dusty though. What do you think of the passing points format and then spin the wheel afterwards, like Port's doing Sunday? I didn't know they were spinning the wheel, but I'm okay with it. But here's the key. You've got to have your track so you can pass during heat races. And Port's had some trouble with that this year. So I am concerned. We'll see how it works out on Sunday. I know they've been working on it, and I know they feel they have an answer for it. But you got to be able to move around and pass to have passing points as far as the heat races. So that's a challenge. I like the format, but you got to be able to pass. Track's got to be conducive for passing. How many non-Woo cars will be at the Ironman 55 this year? Seems more teams are skipping it for 360 Nationals. Yeah, it's all about that track time. And the 360 Nationals pays more than it used to. So with Knoxville raising the purse on the 360 Nationals, getting that valuable track time, the Ironman's the one who kind of takes it in the teeth a little bit on that one. So I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it takes away from the Ironman. I think your Power I guys will go to the Ironman. It's I-55. They race there during the year. So I don't know. We'll see how it all turns out. But yes, more people going to 360 Nationals than normal. All right. I do want to say, so in Port's big race, Weikert is on Sunday. Yes, the reason is because High Limit's in New York Thursday and Friday. That's why. So, and yes, they did take the banking out for the NASCAR trucks. That was part of the deal. So, all right, that's going to wrap up this edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com live show. Thank you, everybody, who joined the chat and also who called in. And we'll be back Saturday with a preview show before the Hodneck Classic. Stay tuned to our social media platforms. We'll tell you when. I'm thinking 2 o'clock. You know what, Eric? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Saturday, as long as Eric says it's okay. You know, I haven't seen a text or anything or a thumbs up. I don't even know if he's the one producing the show. But 2 o'clock on Saturday, we'll have our preview show, and then we'll be back next Tuesday. Stay tuned.